Thank you, Debbie, and good morning, American House. We appreciate you being on this morning. Family Solutions for Care is the nation's largest and most experienced consumer advocate for people with long-term care insurance claims. So we don't sell long-term care insurance, but we're simply there to help your families and to help you be able to increase occupancy by maximizing the benefits under those policies. So in the next slide, you can see what is the real value of a long-term care insurance client. So many people in the industry consider this type of a client a dream client because they typically have far fewer financial obstacles to be able to move in. So that they're demographically, they typically are more affluent. They're certainly private pay. They have the ability to choose the community that they would like to move into. They can typically afford upgraded services within your community. They have the ability to move in quicker and will typically stay longer. So when you put all that together, that's almost a perfect storm, and everyone's excited because they know how they're going to fund their care, except many people don't realize that owning a long-term care insurance policy is really not a guarantee of ever receiving payments. And secondly, the challenges that are associated with dealing with the insurance company consistently cause people to leave money on the table that could have afforded a higher level of care, more amenities within the community, or a longer duration of stay. So on the next page, we can see what makes long-term care insurance claims so challenging. Well, the first thing is that the policies are very difficult to understand. They're written in a way that are very confusing. They use a lot of inconsistent terms. And believe it or not, there's over 400,000 variations of these policies. So no two are really ever the same. So very hard to get your hands around the terms. The next issue is that it becomes very frustrating even trying to reach the insurance company. It's not uncommon to be on hold for 40 or 50 minutes or have to make 5 or 6 different phone calls to actually reach a person that can help you at the insurance company. I had a gentleman tell me last week that he was on hold for 45 minutes. He got disconnected. He had to dial back in. He had to wait another 30 minutes to reach somebody that couldn't help him. So that's pretty standard. So very frustrating process. And then perhaps like any kind of an insurance claim, claimants are really not versed in knowing what to say when they're in a conversation with the insurance company, or perhaps more importantly, what not to say. So it's very easy to have a misstep and say something that causes that claim to either be denied or delayed. Very common. I know you probably see it as well. A lot of times during an initial assessment, you'll have the policyholder maybe having a good day, may make comments to the insurance person or to the nurse that don't accurately represent their real condition, and they end up being denied. So very difficult when dealing directly with the insurance company. And we find that statistically, when families file the initial claim, they are only successful 17% of the time. So it illustrates how difficult it really is. On the next page, you can see some additional challenges. So similar to what Ben pointed out, the families can often be located 500 miles away and may never have even seen their loved one's policy. So logistically challenging. And the one thing that we hear constantly is that the adult children that are trying to help recognize they simply do not have the time to deal with the multitude of issues that are on their plate right now. So many of them had a lot of things going on in their lives prior to even working to get mom or dad into a community. And now they find that the stress of that situation really erodes their time and their ability to handle it. And all they really want to do is secure the best care possible for their loved one. And then these elimination periods in every one of these policies range from either 30 to, I've seen up to 365 days. And these are waiting periods before the benefits actually kick in. So the family has to be prepared to pay out of pocket during that elimination period. And then finally, many states have passed laws that actually override some of the terms in those policies. So because these policies go back 20 and 30 years, we find that there have been many cases where because the terms in those original policies didn't accurately represent what was going on today. As an example, 30 years ago, I mean, there really wasn't an assisted living community industry. So a lot of the policies reference nursing homes and nursing care. So many states have passed laws that override some of those terms, and it's always favorable to the claimant, but you need to know what laws in your particular state that you're dealing in have changed. So on the next page, you can see, what does Family Solutions for Care do to help your client and to help your community? Well, through our partnership with you, you are able to offer those clients that have long-term care insurance a free policy review to determine their eligibility and likelihood of payment. So this is an expert review by people that have done thousands of these that will help that family understand what they really have to work with and how to fund their senior living. And we follow that with a free consultation with the family as well. And again, we keep you in that loop so that you understand what we've learned and what's going on with the family. Now, at that point, many of the families elect to go to loan and they try to do that initial claim. And we're available to offer a couple of hours of chargeable consulting if it helps point them in the right direction. But most of those families opt to take an additional service that we offer where we literally handle every aspect of the claim process. So we go off and gather the information to do that all-important initial claim. As you know, there have to be monthly submissions made to the insurance company. We handle all of that. We ensure that it's done on time. We ensure that the payment stream is going to flow back to you on time. Many times, the insurance company will cause that policyholder to recertify, and it's almost like starting over and filing an initial claim. We help them with that. We get that reinstated as quickly as possible so that we don't interrupt the flow of the payments. And we take on all communication with that insurance company. So the family never even has to speak to the insurance company. And compared to that 17% success rate when the family does this on our own, if we are involved from the beginning, our success rate is getting that initial claim accepted 100% of the time on the first try. The way that we do that is we execute a limited power of attorney and a HIPAA document with the family, and then we go off and gather all the medical and provider records that are needed to do that initial claim. And by the way, just dealing with the medical providers can be every bit as daunting as dealing with the insurance company. And I'm sure, as you know, many times it requires a lot of back and forth, a lot of dialogue with the medical provider. And one of the biggest obstacles in these policies is that when that information comes from the medical provider, it has to align with the terminology in the policy. So we ensure that we receive that information in the proper format with the best opportunity of having it accepted by the insurance company. And we maintain all those records in one place. It's in a HIPAA-approved system. So anyone that needs access to any of that data, we have it in a protected environment. Now, one of the most important things that we do is we go back up to 24 months looking for either medical or life events that could have started the coverage under that policy sooner. So the way we do that is we kind of guide the family through a thought process. You know, at the point that their loved one is ready to enter into your community, there's probably been a lot of other medical things going on in their life. So we have them think back 6 months, 12 months, up to 24 months, and think about what type of care, whether it be rehab, whether it be a hospital stay, whether it be in-home care, but things that the family didn't recognize at the time could have been covered under the policy or wasn't properly documented. And when we do that and we start that policy sooner, that results in a retroactive refund to that family from that new start date. It also, importantly, has the effect of satisfying that elimination period. So that'll reduce the out-of-pocket expense. And then also, once that elimination period is satisfied, it will typically waive any future payment of premiums. So they'll receive a refund of that as well. So the next page, you can kind of see a graphic that explains that a bit. So if you look at that black vertical line, that's the point in time when the client is ready to enter American House. We've assumed here that there's a 90-day elimination period, and we've assumed that the cost from the community is $5,000 per month, just an average number. So to the left of that line is where we go back 24 months looking for these triggering medical events. And by the way, we typically find them. So over the course of our 6-year experience and the thousands of policies that we have helped people with, our client receives an average of $23,000 in their very first check based on having started that policy sooner. Plus, if they've had to pay out of pocket during any portion of that elimination period, they're going to receive a refund of that as well, and of any waived premiums that may result from having satisfied that elimination period. So at a time when the family needs it the most, this is the result. It's very much focused on providing peace of mind to that family and to their loved one. So this lady to the right here is probably an adult child, and she's got a lot going on right now. She has a lot of stress in her life. She's dealing with perhaps other siblings and with her loved one who may not even want to go into care, with medical problems. So when we step in and can help eliminate all the time and stress associated with dealing with the insurance company and dealing with the medical providers, they sense that to be a great benefit to the process. These adult children are typically, they're accustomed to using experts for advice and taking advantage of outside services. So they find that by using our service that we greatly reduce the risk of any mistakes being made that could cause delay in starting those payments or interrupting those payments. We're able to really know how to get the maximum level of benefits out of those policies, again, because we have the level of experience of having dealt directly with those insurance companies, with people that do this all day, every day. We satisfy that elimination period and reduce the out-of-pocket costs. Now, our average person gets that $23,000, but many of them receive much more than that. And of course, some will receive less, but we've seen them as high as six figures. So we had a case where we actually went back 11 months and found that we could start the policy 11 months sooner, and that insurance company paid 11 months worth of weekly benefits to that family in one check in the first payment. Now, on the next page, you can see we've seen the value to the family, of course, and to the claimant. So what is the value to American House? So the first thing is, very early on in your communication with a new prospective client or a family that's looking at your community, you can project a very positive initial image by offering them, the people that have long-term care insurance, a very valuable service that helps build trust, and it's that free expert review. What we have found is that when we are involved in maximizing these benefits and helping people get the benefits, we find that shortens the sales cycle because you don't have to invest as much time in determining how that family is going to fund the care. It results in a faster move-in, and typically these people their benefits, as we help them maximize those, will allow them to stay longer. It in turn helps you maximize revenue because you can provide a higher level of care typically because, again, we've helped provide the maximum benefit and provide additional amenities that they can afford, whether it be an upgrade to a room size or some additional amenities within the community. One of the things we find a lot of people don't realize is that there is a legal liability associated with helping people with long-term care insurance policies because it is a financial instrument. So just like you would have a liability if you were a CPA, you would have a liability if you were an attorney. We really eliminate that liability for the community and for your personnel by being involved because we take on that entire burden ourselves. Also has the effect of increasing and improving cash flow because first, you're going to get paid sooner. And secondly, we're going to greatly reduce any account receivables risk that there may be going forward. And I'll tell you how real that is, and I know you probably recognize this. Hopefully this doesn't exist in any of your communities today. I was on a call with a business office manager yesterday who wanted to know how we might be able to help. They had a resident that had long-term care insurance and currently was $30,000 in arrears because the community had not received any money from the long-term care insurance company. And so it's not uncommon. They have long-term care insurance. You accept them into the community. Something is not right in the documentation process or in something that's been reported. There's a problem with the coverage, and over time, then that receivable builds up. And the other important information she imparted to me was, due to COVID, they were unable to evict that resident. So the problem just continues to get worse. If we're involved right from the beginning in any kind of a situation where someone has long-term care insurance, we're going to prevent that from happening. And then finally, because I know within your communities you have people that have devoted time and effort to dealing with either policy issues or multiple insurance companies, once we take on that responsibility, we eliminate all of that. And especially I know during COVID, many administrative people have been redeployed to become caregivers. They were spread very thin. So we free up that time for you. We free up that expense. And at the same time, we greatly reduce the possibility of errors. And we have someone who's watching that claim every single month to be sure that you're going to get paid on time and that everything that needs to be in the hands of the insurance companies is. So there's no more, well, we didn't get your invoice or we didn't get something else. So kind of in closing here, I want to tell you we're really honored to help the families that you serve. We have been doing this a long time, and the people in this company are extremely compassionate and focused on simply wanting to help the families get the benefits that they deserve and the benefits that they have paid for. You can see a lot of additional information on our website, FamilySolutionsForCare.com. You'll see a lot of testimonials from families, from senior living professionals, from placement agents. That's our main number. You can contact us on that main number at any time. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions once this session is over, or if I can ever help you in any way, point you in a direction, give you some guidance about a client situation. Email me or phone me. And then the last thing I want to mention is that because we've established a partnership with American House, we have developed a American House branded resource page that you can direct your associates to. It's at FamilySolutionsForCare.com/American House, and you'll be able to see a high-level overview of what we do, a place to refer clients, some downloadable collateral that you can use and make available to your clients. And it's a place where you can always go, and we will ensure that this webinar is posted out there for you as well. So thank you, team. Thank you, Brianne. I appreciate the opportunity very much. We look forward to helping you.